Pathmonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in the buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmonk to your website in seconds, by letting the AI do all the work and increase conversions while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Pathmonk Presents. Today we're joined by Joey Flores. He's a former YC founder. He's the head of marketing at SafetyWing. Joey, I'm glad to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rick. Good to be here.
Amazing. Joey, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. Let's start with the basics maybe. What's the big idea behind Safety Wing? And if you were to explain it to a friend over coffee, how would you describe what you do?
I would basically talk about the fact that, increasingly people are living borderless lives. They're going all over the world. Airfare travel has dropped to, very affordable rates, which allow people to travel quite a lot. I myself have been fairly nomadic for almost 9 years, during which time I've spent time in about 18 different countries. And SafetyWing's founders realized that there's a bit of a problem with a lot of the sort of social safety nets that people are used to, whether that's health insurance or income protection, disability, and things like that, which are oftentimes provided by the governments of our countries and our states, tend to break down when you are traveling and living a more global life. When you're not in your home country, you have a hard time accessing healthcare and things like that. So SafetyWing builds products for sort of to unlock your global aspirations and allow you to move about the world freely. So we have health insurance, we have travel insurance, we have life insurance, and other products that are sort of borderless. They work in over 175 countries. There's no specific network that you need to go to. You can go to a hospital in some rural part of China and then file a claim against the policy from anywhere you've been treated.
All right, that's impressive. Would you say, and I'm just trying to understand a little bit more as we get into, you'll see as we get into the podcast more and more, we'll get a little bit more technical about, marketing stuff, right? So trying to understand about your ICP a little bit more for context. Is this for the travel nut or the commuter that travels a lot, or is it for everyone? Really, like, is there a specific kind of persona that you're targeting at this point, or maybe not?
Yeah, so I mean, we have like two divisions of the company. We have the B2B side where we provide healthcare plans for companies. And what makes our product unique is that it does work all over the world. So a lot of times, if you have, these days people have, a few employees in Colombia, a few in Israel, a few in the United States, a few in Australia. And so rather than having to get an Australian plan and a Colombian plan and have a different plan for every one of your teammates, you can get the Safety Wing plan and cover all of your employees around the globe with one plan. So that's one of our ICPs is basically distributed teams, oftentimes with a presence in three or more countries. And then on the consumer side, it's basically, we really focus on long-term travelers, so expats, long-term travelers, families living abroad, etc. Certainly, you can pick up our Nomad Essential product and hold on to it for 1 or 2 months while you're taking a short trip. But we really try to build these with the long-term traveler in mind, people who spend probably half or more of their time every year not in their home country.
Makes sense, and it's more and more common these days. So, I'm sure you guys have your hands full as far as claims, and being able to help these people essentially. Um, how do these people discover you? Is it, simple Google search, or, and in a way, I'm just trying to understand a little bit about your marketing channels, right? What's become your go-to for bringing in more of those people?
Yeah. We have a super robust ambassador program. So we work with a ton of influencers and creators on YouTube, TikTok, a lot of bloggers and people like that. So to some extent, we really let other people tell the story of SafetyWing. We have a lot of travel creators who use our product, who are, loyal customers who really have had, tough situations happen while they're traveling, and SafetyWing has been there for them. So a lot of our promotion is essentially through this ambassador program, primarily working with, I guess you would call them influencers, but we sort of think of them as like creators, and ambassadors.
Okay. Um, how much of a role does your website play when it comes to putting in new business? Because I'm sure these influencers or creators, um, essentially you have an ambassador program, so they'll send people over, and then it's up to you guys, in terms of course, they establish the trust and the credibility, and then you guys, will have the reviews and whatever goes along with it to kind of seal the deal, and of course the suite of products that you offer. But is there anything that you think really works when it comes to conversions right now, or anything maybe you got your eye on improving even?
Yeah, I mean, I think our insurance is not really an impulse buy, so oftentimes we have to have multiple touch points. People hear about us a couple of different times before they actually pull the trigger. Sometimes they're planning a trip, but they're not leaving for 3 or 4 months. So we have products where you can actually set when you want your policy to start, things like that. But yeah, I mean, our website is a imperative part of our marketing funnel. I think our brand is super unique. Most people probably wouldn't have guessed that a big insurance company, one of YC's top companies, is using cartoon birds as like their primary aesthetic. But I actually love it. I think it's super memorable. It gives us a lot of opportunities to create fun animations and things like that that make our website more engaging. So yeah, I mean, our website is super important to us, and I genuinely believe our design team is world class. I mean, like if you go to our website, there's so many things you won't even notice the first time. I mean, I was working here for 3 months before I noticed certain small animations that are happening on the page that I think just really like keep you engaged, even if you don't realize why you're so sort of tuned into the page. So yeah, I think our website's important, and I think we spend a lot of time honing in on our aesthetic and our brand.
Certainly, there's a contrast with like legacy type of insurance, websites or things like that, right? So, and especially when it comes to traveling, the people you target, having been one of them in the past, I think they're kind of like more like free spirited, more like, on the go and loving the adventure, right? So I think it really fits as far as brand. That's perfect. And I see what you mean. Like, I haven't seen all the animations, but obviously, I visited your website and it's just, it feels like, a fun experience in a way. And that's not typically what you're attached to insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
No,
that's
I
pretty
think
cool.
it's a big differentiator for us, and also, sort of when we think about it internally, birds represent migration, they represent mobility, so it's definitely on brand for the kind of customers we work with.
Flying in the nest, right? That's yeah,
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, Joy, I want to switch gears for a second here and talk about you as a leader. What does a typical workday look like for you, and what are the main things you focus on a day to day at SafetyWing?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that if you ask me that question like 6 months from now, it'll be very different. But I just joined. I haven't even been on the job for 4 months. The company is primarily product led, so we have four different product teams: one on the B2B side, and then one for different types of consumer products that we have. And historically, they have done their own marketing. So they might build their own landing pages, they might build their own email flows and things like that. And now I'm the first head of marketing that the company has ever had. So I'm sort of trying to centralize a lot of those functions. So right now, it's very much about getting alignment with these teams, figuring out what everybody's working on, which are the types of things that marketing should take over immediately versus transition over time. So right now, I'm really just building out the marketing department sort of from the ground up, and trying to figure out like how a centralized marketing department can work in an otherwise fairly decentralized organization. So right now it's a lot about process and ops and things like that, and sort of general strategy. And then I think in 6 months when I have a bit more of a team in place, I may be spending my time in slightly different ways. But for now, it's a lot about organizing, sort of how the organization is going to function with a marketing department now in place.
Sounds exciting and also a lot of work at the same time, which most things are, to be honest. But it's, fair enough. I mean, just building out a team, and the good thing about it is that, you're setting the standard in a way. You're also like setting all the processes and things like that, and you can oversee it as opposed to, jumping in. As things are already been running. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. That's a great opportunity for you guys. Do you have any time for, let's say, keeping up with, not maybe even trends, but what's going on in the marketing world and even places or routines that you turn to for inspiration and being able to keep learning at all, or is that something that you do on the job?
I would lean more towards on the job. I'm just the kind of person who loves to just like try things, experiment, sort of learn, and sort of use my intuition as well as sort of data to like make some of those decisions. I mean, these days when I feel like there's a channel that I'm like need to get a better understanding of, GEO is one of them. I will use sort of some of the LLMs to kind of like just do like heavy research and figure out like what's happening in these channels, what are some of the top recommendations, what are people doing that's interesting. I don't know that I follow like a lot of newsletters, but I definitely, quite frequently am diving into ChatGPT, for example, and just, hey, how does the optimization of this channel sort of work? What are sort of the, engagement metrics that these platforms look at, things like that, to just to kind of dig into these things. So yeah, I mean, I would say that's how I'm trying to stay on top of those trends, but I definitely lean towards experimentation and just figuring it out by doing it.
Well, you definitely have that entrepreneurial spirit, I would say. So fair enough, right? I asked this question. I kind of knew the answer already, but I wanted to hear it from you. So that's it makes sense. Um, Joey, we have a rapid fire segment here at Pathmonk Presents. You know how it works, right? There's a couple questions. We try to keep things light and engaging. So would you be ready for it?
Sounds good.
All right. So to stay on that topic of content, right? When it comes to consuming content for you, what's the format that you prefer? Is it watching, reading, or listening?
I would watching. Yeah, I would say of all those, I definitely watch a lot of content, perhaps on YouTube, but yeah, not a big reader.
Okay. So what's the latest piece of content? And it could be a short or a YouTube video or a course even that you picked up. And was there anything that really stuck with you in it?
Uh, Gosh, I don't know how much I just should divulge here. The truth is, I just watch way too much Shark Tank. I find it so riveting to like listen to these people be
It's addictive.
skewered in this format. But I feel like I learned a lot from it, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe not all of it is applicable to like online businesses. There's a lot of like consumer packaged goods and other things there, but I do feel like I learn new things from that show quite often, and that's maybe a weird one to reference as a place of learning, but it is one of the things I watch the most.
No, I get it. If anything, you can learn how to tell people their ideas suck in different
Yeah,
ways,
totally.
So
Yeah, take it
that's pretty
behind the
good.
barn and shoot it.
Exactly. Joey, if you had a magic wand, it could fix one frustrating thing in your marketing life with tech, what would you pick?
Oh man. I think sort of like an AI driven like analyst would be interesting. Not just like something where I can ask questions because I think a lot of times when you're looking at data, you're like, oh, you start to like notice interesting things and then you have to like pull on these threads and be like, okay, wow, that's interesting. I'm noticing this segment is performs very differently than these other segments. Let me dig in and try to figure out why. But you kind of have to know like what questions to ask and what threads to pull. And I think it could be quite interesting if there was a system that had access to your data that actually did the question asking and digging for you and surfaced insights that that at least in my experience in the past, you really have to like know what you want to find and what you're looking for. It would be interesting if somebody knew the better questions to ask than even you yourself do.
Okay, that's an interesting one. I like it from that perspective, like what question to ask. You don't really necessarily need an answer, but what's the right question, right? In that sense. Um,
Mhm.
what's one repetitive task that you love to put on autopilot forever?
Politely responding to emails and LinkedIn messages that I'm not interested in. I tend to still reply, which is probably a waste of my time. But yeah, if I could just have something that would just write back to people and be like, "Oh, thanks for reaching out," but that's just not something I can prioritize at the moment.
There's got to be something for that, right? I'm probably gonna hear from vendors that you'll have to politely reply no to after this, but I'm sure there's something out there that can help you out.
Yeah, that's maybe if I did a little more time reading and less time watching Shark Tank, I would have found that tool already.
Fair point. Joey, I want to thank you for being on the show with us today. And as we wrap things up, I also want to give you the last word. So, if someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is the one thing that they should remember about the work you guys are doing and what you're building?
I think that, we have a very, very big vision for how to make borderless and global living easier and safer. What we're doing today in terms of insurance is just the tip of the iceberg for us. We're looking at, income protection, pension programs, like all of the things that would make you feel comfortable moving to a totally different place and setting up your life there. I would say check out SafetyWing for the products that we have today, but also keep us in mind as you think about maybe, having a more global future of your own because we're definitely, very focused on creating, like an all-encompassing safety net that keeps people secure no matter where they're at in the world.
That's even, relevant these days. As I said, it's more people travel, more people are digital nomads, if you will, more people are doing remote work. So, yeah, that's a really good mission that you guys are on. Joy, if people want to check out your products, where can they go?
www.safetywing.com.
Too easy. All right.
Yeah.
Joy, again, thank you for your insights. Thank you for sharing your experience with us today. I hope maybe we can do this again soon in 2026 when that team has been built and things are growing, just to see how what the difference is like, and maybe you'll get a little bit more time to watch even more Shark Tank, which that always helps. So that
Sounds
would
good,
be really
Rick.
good. All right, amazing. Joy, in the meantime, I wish you beautiful day, and we're in this season right now. This episode will be out in a few weeks, but Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays as we go into that time of the year.
Yeah, likewise. Happy holidays, Rick.
Amazing. All right, take it easy. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.